time to join the fabulous Bill Carne from Pembrokeshire Sport. We're going to have
Good
everything what is
morning,
happening
Gina.
over the weekend. Morning.
Yeah, good morning to you both. It's going to be
Good
a good
morning.
day weather-wise, so I'm looking forward to today.
Yes, make the most of it. There's a few drizzles coming a little bit later on as the day progresses. And Bill, it's getting cold as well. 1 degree tonight.
Ugh.
Well, it dropped last night when I got into the house. I walked in and it was very cold. The other car on the front there was all misted up then. Yeah, poor sign
Yeah.
that.
Have you had the heating on, or have you put an extra jumper on? That's what
Of
I'm
course
wanting
we
to know.
are. I live with a lovely lady, but she likes it warm, yeah.
Ah, there we are. Nice and cosy then.
That is the best way.
Yeah.
But the good thing about the temperatures are going down, but we've talked about this before, Bill. The facilities that we've got here means that some sports can be carried on playing indoors. So I think we should start with that. Should we look at the indoor cricket first?
Yeah, it's continuing at pace, Tom. And if you look at it, the thing I like best about it, I know I've said it before, like when the ladies played this week, there were 5 or 6 different umpires, all young fellas from the clubs who were playing have gone along to support. There's no shortage of scorers, and the games are played in the best of oil. Generally, in both competitions, the men's and the women's. If we start with the men's, because that was on Monday, there was plenty of action there, and some good results. Nayland A beat Nayland B. There were 2 local derbies. Nayland A won 3-7 for 5. Nayland B 44 for 3. Listen to this. Paul Murray for Nayland A, 72 not out in 10 overs.
Wow.
So that takes some doing, yeah. Nayland B 44 for 3. And Jack John, Brad McDermott Jenkins got wickets. And Andrew Miller, who's, you won't mind me saying, is a veteran now, was called in because the Hannon twins were elsewhere. And he had a wicket as well. The funny thing about that was Nayland B, for some reason, seemed to adapt a low, a sort of go slow towards the end. They only scored 11 runs in the last 6 overs. Not very quick. Pembroke Dock B 87 all out. Adam Phillips had 40. Lost to Pembroke Dock, their senior team, 88 for 3. Tom Grimwood 27. Scott Griffiths 26. The captain, loudest appealer I've ever heard in my life. It was quite funny because he was screaming, "How's that?" And both umpires, Alan Hansen and Rob Bellew, he was just saying, "Not out." Yeah. And then Sanrian 1-2-1 for 3. Dav Williams is turning into a real fine disher for them. He had 35 not out. He tops the number of runs scored in the division at the moment. John Strawbridge 27 not out. They beat Haverfordwest 92. Ashley James 32. Only 5 men for Haverfordwest and for Pembroke Dock B, which was a bit of a pity. And then if we go on to the ladies' games, there were 2 wins for Carew. The young lady sitting in the front there will be delighted. And you know, Gina, someone who's turned in, and she was a good cricketer in her younger days. She's now the proud mother of 3 boys that will all play for Carew first team on a regular basis. From the Hall family, who you know.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, well, Kate Chandler Hall, married into Adam Chandler's sister. She had 2 good performances. There's someone who's doing well in that team. But in the games themselves, Carew were 87 for 0 against Pembroke A, 61 for 3. Lily Buckle, 26, and Kate Chandler Hall, 27. And Nicola White, 27 not out for Pembroke A. In the next game, Haverfordwest A beat Pembroke B, 80 for 1 and 50 all out. Owen Presser, 25, and both for Haverfordwest. Listen to this, Angie Tinley took 3 for 3.
Wow.
They only allowed 2 overs, and one of those was a maiden. Now, that's a rare thing in ladies, in any indoor cricket, really, a maiden over. And in the other games then, Pembroke lost to Haverfordwest, I said, and Haverfordwest lost to Pembroke Dock, and my notes are roughly written in front of me because they were quickly done. The match of the night, by far, Haverfordwest tried to chase down the Docks 97 for 3. In the end, they wanted 4 off the last ball and failed to get it. So it was a cracking match. Cheryl Hughes had 39 not out for the Dock. And for Haverfordwest, Owen Presser again, and Nia Williams not out 27s. So a cracking game to end the night, but superbly run as usual by Sam Rossiter.
Oh, that's fantastic. And what I love is that they are slowly, more and more matches are becoming a bit more competitive. But I just got to go back to the Nayland Day. Paul Murray was 72 not out. There's some days in any sport where if you're in that form everything just falls your way. Have you ever had a match like that, Bill, in your time where you think I could do no wrong and you're just enjoying it and just left, right, down the middle, whatever you're feeling?
Yeah, I have to say, not as often as Paul Murray would have. Sadly, my job was often in adversity. If I once scored 60 not out in a game against Criselli, where Ali Davis, the late lovely Ali Davis, told me after was the worst half century he'd ever seen in his life. but we were 90 for 8, so I had 60 of those. So I did well in adversity. Really, I was a bit like Fraser in that. Although I was a better batsman than Fraser is, I have to say that.
Oh, I feel a challenge.
Yeah, I know. And then turning our attention then to well, actually, let's go to the rugby, because there is no rugby this week. But there's some clubs not necessarily happy about this.
No, there's just, I'm not correcting you, Tom. They've cropped up recently now. There is a game tonight. Pembroke are travelling to play Cardigan in the Pembrokeshire Knockout Cup. Long haul for Pembroke, well done for going. And tomorrow, Tenby are travelling all the way to Aberaeron to play in the same competition. They have to have that ratified with the Welsh Rugby Union, who will not let them play before about 3:15, because Wales are playing a momentous game against Georgia. Who cares, I ask myself, if I'm honest. But Neyland wanted to play Aberystwyth, and Aberystwyth are prepared to travel all the way down to be able to fulfil a fixture, which they have to do. And guess what? The Welsh Rugby Union said again, 3:00, 3:15 start no later, because you must watch Wales play in Georgia, and there are no lights in Neyland, so they can't play. It'd be ridiculous to expect them to start at 3:15 and finish with the light we've got now. If there was an injury for 5 minutes, they wouldn't finish the game. And I just think it's outrageous. I understand there are rules. I understand the Welsh officials, the WRU, the top brass there, want people to support Wales. But come on, I mean, let the guys have a game. Let them play it, half past 2. And there's still plenty of people who like us who watch Wales play. Yeah. But I think it's wrong for them to stop local people playing cricket, and they don't care about the local game. Sorry to be controversial, but it's my view. Yeah.
And particularly with these autumn internationals, it's not a championship. It's not something that necessarily counts towards anything in the long run. Like Gordon will talk very openly on a Monday evening on the sports show with Eaton Evans and Morris, that it's just a testing ground, these autumn internationals, ready for the Six Nations and the World Cup next year. They don't mean that much.
I'm surprised Gordon hasn't added a rider to that, though, to say it is to ground and give players a chance, people who are recovering, people who are trying to make their mark. But it's a money-making exercise as well. And the prices for and that gets me on to my next gripe, of course. Tickets, £120 for an autumn international. Yeah, down to £80. They're the cheapest. Yeah. If you were a couple with a couple of kids, that's £500, £600 to watch. Yeah. An hour and 20 minutes of rugby, and it just leaves me cold, I'm afraid, at the moment. I think there ought to be some leniency in saying to clubs, well, look, you can play. In this, in those circumstances, say play at Abbas too. I just find it sad.
Yeah. And then we'll move away from the rugby and towards football. Of course, Hakin and Holywell took place last weekend, Bill, and the magic has come to an end.
Yes, although the magic continues this weekend as well, because guess what? There's another team coming from North Wales to play Hakin, this time in the FAW Cup, and they're called Triadur Bay, which is right up on the west coast of Anglesey. If you look into their ground, it's the most stunning setting, right on the coastline. Huge crowds watch them. They play in the North Wales West Division 1. They're going to be top of that team. They're a good side, and I understand they're coming down on the day, travelling down and travelling back. That's a 350-mile round trip.
Wow.
I think I might have slightly set the cat amongst the pigeons, because when I looked on their website, it clearly said this Saturday, 2:30 at Lorniselt is a FAW Cup match, and we're playing at home to Hakin United. And of course, you go on the Haken United site website, and it says Haken United are playing at home.
No.
Oh dear.
So that would have been quite good. But anyway, I take no credit for it. But I did just mention to the club their website, so they have altered it, I think, now, because they're definitely coming down to Haken. So good luck to Scott Davis and the boys. Scott hasn't been 100% well for about a week. We wish him well and hope the boys come through that one.
Yeah, it was great to see the Scorio film crew down at the Obs. There's a nice little camera roll and a nice little feature on Haken. Yeah. It's great for Pembrokeshire football. It's wonderful. Haverfordwest are also playing. Well, they're also up in North Wales.
They might cross, those two clubs. They're playing the bottom side, whose points total at the moment is the grand sum of -2. Because they've not won a game, and they were penalised for irregularities with registration. So you look at Haverfordwest, that seems an easy game, but we all know no such thing in this league as an easy game. It's a possible banana skin for Tony Pennock and his side. I wish him every success. They had a great win last week up there against Flint Town United. So let's hope they can beat the wing makers as well. They're playing okay, and we hope that they have a good run there. They play at the Hollingsworth Group Stadium. It's a company who sponsor that. They were a good side. They were in Europe for 3 seasons, then got relegated, looked in danger of dropping out, but have fought back. But I think this is a step too far for Airbus. I don't think it is for Haverfordwest, fortunately.
Yeah, no. So all the best of luck to the Bluebirds as they travel away again.
And there's also lots of Senior Cup action, because that's the big action in this county. Everybody wants to get to the Cup final at the Bridge Meadow Stadium, and the game's very quickly this week. I have a feeling, Tom and Gina, this could be the year where we have, if the draw goes right, a smaller side, and I mean that with respect, like Kilgetty did last year, who make it for a great day out. And they're still in it. Kilgetty, they're in 4th place now in Division 1, and they're playing St. Florence, who are 7th in Division 3. Saundersfoot, they're 5th in Division 3, play Carew, so a bit of a local derby there, Gina. And Carew are 7th in the top echelon. Milford United, who are 4th in Division 2, play Penna Robbins, Division 1 team. Camrose, who are 3rd in Division 3, play Pendine, who are 3rd in Division 9. So these one side is going to go through there from the lower divisions. Tenby, who are 7th in Division 2 now, play Solver, who are 10th in Division 2. Nayland, all Division 1 game. Nayland, who are 10th, play Mountain Swifts 3rd. And this game will be a mouthwatering one. St. Clair's, who are bottom but 1 in Division 1, play Goodwick United, who are top of Division 1, of course. And if you look at the reason why Saundersfoot are in Division 5, who are playing Carew, they dropped out of the league and they're coming back now, and they will move through. They've got some good players there. So that's a tester for Carew, but I expect them to win, Gina. Carew.
Good. That's it. I like that.
Are you going to be there, Gina, on the sidelines?
Oh, not this week. No, I can't make it, I'm afraid. It's a bit cold for me.
But what I do love about the Cup, Bill, you mentioned there, Kilgetty had a brilliant run last year. It's anyone's. It's all based on one game. Anything can happen if it falls your way on the day.
Yeah, indeed. And you have to fancy still sides like Goodwick and Moncton. They're sides who have hardened, or Carew over the years, honed their skills so that they're hard to beat, but you never know.
No, you never know. And just making sure I don't forget everything. So I'm just going to say, first of all, thank you very much, Bill, and pembrokeshiresport.co.uk, because there was a lovely editorial on the website posted just the other day. Yeah, there was. And I recognise the chap, but he's got a dodgy moustache in one of the pictures. So I just want to put on record a big thank you very much for taking the time to chat to me about my love for sport and passion for sport and the positive impact it can have on individuals and groups. So thank you.
Yeah, I just say this, Tom. You and Gina both represent sport. You both love your sport. You're involved. Gina, her husband, plays Cliff, and you've been a great supporter of Carew over the years, and your family certainly have been. So there's sport for all. And what I love, Tom, you're the first to say you're not the best in the world. I wasn't either. I was better than you, mind. But you would love it. You've done things that I couldn't possibly dream of doing. You climbed up Machu Picchu. I don't know if Gina could do that. I couldn't do that.
No.
I would hate that. You've done things that I couldn't do. And there's sport for all. There's leisure activities for all. And you sum that up, and you do it. You two do a lovely job for Pure West. You're a breath of fresh air in the mornings. Now it's enough of the bull and baloney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And
it was a pleasure.
yeah, no, it was. In fact, we need another catch up as well, Bill. We need to fit that in. And before we look at a character in Clarbeston Road, predictions for Monday evening, Bill. Wales are back in the World Cup.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. And listen, I wish them every success. All of Wales will be cheering them on. Again, if I had to have a grouse, why the heck are they playing it in Qatar? Not only for weather conditions, but for conditions with human rights and things like that. These places should be, in my view, I'm very careful, ostracised for the way they conduct themselves over matters that they should have more awareness of these days. Not in the dark ages anymore, particularly in regard to gender and things like that, and certainly for women's rights. It's a disgrace. So there we are. But I hope Wales do well. They'll adapt to the conditions, I'm sure. It's not out. Gina, you'd love it out there. It's about 40 degrees to play in.
Yeah, that's what I like. I like that. I'd be on the sidelines there, no problem at all.
I'd be in a hotel with the curtains drawn with
the air conditioning on.
Yeah.
Oh dear. But yeah, the Wales reached their first World Cup. In fact, the Pure Sports Show on Monday is going to be slightly different if you're watching this. We're going to be splitting it in two. We're going to have pre-match and we're going to have immediate post-match reflections after the game. So tune in for that on Monday evening with Ethan Evans and Morris.
The experts, of course.
For the experts.
I'm considered too old for that now, Gina.
Oh. It's all right, Bill. Well, you get to have me on a Friday, so that's good.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
And then this character from Clarbeston Road, then, Bill. Who are we looking at?
Well, Greg Brown, 18 months ago, he was playing for Clarbeston Road in the Pembrokeshire League. He's a football man. His father, Steve's the same, and they're involved there. But he is very good at logistics and statistics, and he started helping out with the Welsh ladies, with both of them. He then was recruited to go out, would you believe, with the English ladies team in the World Cup rugby, which was some of the best rugby I've seen in the last 10 years, in the semi-final, in the final. I can only say, wow. And he's the logistics manager for them. And blow me, Eddie Jones has now stuck his oar in, my favourite Australian. And he has recruited Greg to become the logistics manager for the English men's rugby team. As we speak, he'll be packing his bag ready to go on Monday to France with Eddie and a couple of others to look at all the different places and facilities that they can think of booking for the World Cup next year in France. And he's from Clarbeston Road. Isn't it amazing?
Clarbeston Road?
I love
that. No, I better be careful. He's from posh area. He's from Spittal. Oh. His dad lives in Spittal, and he's there. He's at home now. I spoke to him this week. I'm going to do an article on him, like I've just done on you. I'm meeting him next week for that, for a cup of coffee, and we'll sort something out with that. But isn't it great, Gina, to see people from? I say youngster. I think Craig's about 30 now. Isn't it wonderful to see people making headway in all activities? But in our activity of sport, he's at the very top. I did ask him, was he confident of getting the decisions right with Mr. Jones, because apparently he's a fiery personality, and he said he hasn't seen him firing off yet. And I did say to him, Gowney Weld, Tom, wait and see, isn't it?
Wait and see. I was just about to say, wait and see. Well, fingers crossed he does a good job and doesn't get on the receiving end of that. And we say it every week, the caliber of people in Pembrokeshire. That's just transcending sport. That's looking at logistics to make sure that we can enjoy sport and the athletes can enjoy sport in a safe environment. It's just incredible that we have that on our doorstep. It's amazing.
Absolutely, and it tells every youngster in Pembrokeshire to have an aspiration. If you want something, work at it. All the top people I've interviewed in my life, and I've been very fortunate, I've interviewed the best in Wales, the best from other countries sometimes, and they all put forward the same message. I started off kicking the ball in the garden with my my dad and my brother, Warren Gatland, would tell you that.
Yeah.
You know, you look at all the top people who've made it to that area. I mean, when we spoke to Paula Craig, who was inspirational, was in a wheelchair at the MB with the police. She was a senior police officer after when she was a constable, got into a wheelchair through an accident in London. And you think there is a chance for everybody, you know?
Yeah, it's
it,
brilliant. And Joe Allen used to play in little football tournaments in Rosebush with the boys and girls at under 11s. And he's about to, well, he took part in his first training session yesterday, ready for a World Cup. So it really is fantastic. Yeah. So work hard and you never know where you might end up. And Bill, we've ended up talking with each other. So thank you so much for joining us here this morning.
Sorry, I banged on a bit this morning. I know that.
No, it's good. We've got to cover so much. There's also so much going on, and it's great to have that insight to the weekend.
Thank you,
and of
Jean.
course the week ahead. But my favourite time of the morning when we meet up with you, Bill, is to find out what song we're going to have today. So what have you chosen and why?
The thing I can guarantee you always is it'll be an old fogey song. But we were travelling in the car this week, and because we can't get Pure West when we're way up the line, we have Gold On, and it plays my sort of music. And I was listening to the King, Elvis Presley, singing It's Now or Never. Now, some of his later records saddened me. It wasn't Elvis, but his early records. I was lucky to be around at that time with the Beatles, the Stones, all those. And he just revolutionized music. He really did. And It's Now or Never is a song. You listen to the piano in the background. It is absolutely spellbinding. And I thought I'd share that with you today. And
thank you so much, Bill.
Lovely.
Well, thank you so much. Looking forward to catching up with you already next week, where the World Cup will have commenced, and It's going to be another week of fantastic sport right here locally in Pembrokeshire. Bill, as ever, thank you so much for your time here this morning.
It's my pleasure to come on. It's not often I'd get up at 6 o'clock thinking I've got something to do and meet up at 7. It's a pleasure to see you both.
It is. Thank you so much. So it's just gone 7:30. Coming up, it is Bill's choice for this Feel Good Friday. It's Now or Never. Elvis Presley is on the way. Thank you, Bill.
Bye-bye.
Feel Good Friday with Pem's Paving. Your